Hello and welcome to episode 7 of HibsTalk Extra Time. This week, Craig and I were joined by Retro Video Club frontman Liam Allison as we spoke about his affinity to Hibs and his take on the season so far. We had a look back at Wednesday's 0-0 draw at Motherwell, spoke about the remainder of the transfer window and had a look ahead to Livingston on Saturday. If you enjoyed tonight, remember to look out for Saturday's episode with Gav previewing the derby. Remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HFCTalk and on Facebook at HibsTalk. Thanks and enjoy the show. Yes, we are back again. It's another Thursday night, another episode of HibsTalk Extra Time. I'm joined tonight by the wonderful, the amazing, the talented Craig Leach. How are you today, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
And I'm quite all right. And the wonderful, talented, beautiful, long flowing hair, Liam Allison from Retro Video Club. How are you getting on, mate?
I'm all right. How are you, mate?
I'm very, very well. It's good to have you on the podcast. Thanks for coming on. It's about 10 grand to book, Liam, but it's worth every penny. Hopefully it's worth every penny for
Monopoly money.
and the insight that he's going to bring tonight. But yeah, so we thought that we would get Liam on. He makes no bones about himself and the rest of the Retro Video Club band being big Hibs fans. They've done a lot with the club, with recording the Hibs Heroes song that's played at Easter Road every week. So we'll just get straight into your connection, Liam, with the club as a fan. When did you start supporting Hibs?
Oh, I've had a Hibs kit on since I was a wee baby. I think my earliest memory that being aware that I was a Hibs fan was my old man bought me the canary yellow Carlsberg kit. And I was a wee nipper at the time, and I mind being like, that was like my first memory. I've got a full kit, and it had green shorts and it had yellow socks, and it was like that sort of with the badges in the middle. I'm trying to think what I think it might have been the old.
That's
one
I think that's
02.
Maybe 02. Maybe I thought it might have been 01 or 02. I can't mind exactly, but it was around about that time. Maybe 02. Because the 2000 kit, I actually did have the 2000 kit too, but I only had the top. Again, the mixed with Catalina, that one, the one that's sort of synonymous with him. I had that one, and but my first proper memory was having that canary yellow one. I mind coming in for school when my old man had it there for me. It was about four sizes too big, right? Because again, you got the wee size, and I was just toy. And
it was a horrible material, that one, eh?
It was. It was like it wasn't breathable or nothing. It was like.
Nah.
It was
the
almost
home kit was exactly the same. The Cox Sportif was on the
Cox Sportif was on the side. So I mean, I've had Weensy strips obviously throughout my whole life and that, but that's like my first sort of full kit memory of that. And then I played for Leaf Athletic for when I was 5 right through to when I was 15. And we always used to get some of the Hibs players and that would come down to the games. I mind like Zamama and that would come down and can just watch. So I think that being so close and obviously being in Leaf. Just the ties with that really. That's kind of my earliest memory, I suppose, of being a Hibby.
I feel old if that's your earliest memory. Mine's hasn't even got the same badge on it.
You're older than that.
Mine's is probably about the 90, probably 95, 96.
Is it?
So when you said the yellow strip, I thought you meant the yellow strip that we had before
the Sawsey one. The Sawsey one.
Aye.
Oh, right. I can't know what you mean.
Aye, so
no,
that was a belter as well.
I was only 3 then, I think, or 2 or 3. So I couldn't mind when I was 2 or 3. But they strips as well, and also they players at the time Ken, so like Russell Lappy's like my all-time favourite Hibs player.
Aye.
And when you're a wee, obviously have like your idols and all that stuff. And like I loved the strips. I thought the strips were always minted then. And obviously some of the players are not like. I mean, they're some of the best players that, again, I've ever played for Hibs. So
Exactly.
it's a good time.
Good memories, eh?
Very
good
good
memories.
It's
Very
like
good.
you say, the strips were banging back then, and so were the players. And as the strips got worse,
The players go
over the
first.
years, the players got worse. I know.
Players go first. I know. I mean,
About
well,
6 years where the strips
I mean-
were just shite filled with shite.
And then you
we-
had that one with the slope in 2012, and that was just the pinnacle of all bad strips and bad times you've been in.
Well, what's funny is here's me saying about that yellow kit. I didn't ken why. I think it's my like earliest proper memory because I got the full kit, right? But I remember my uncle's a Hearts fan, and I remember the 6-2 game. But I didn't remember much about the game. But I remember going to his house and writing 6-2 on a like paper and sticking it to his door because he was at the game, so he would get it when he came in. And obviously that was brilliant. Again,
That's
a lot of paying that and all. Again, just the players at that time. Just it was just a great time to be a Hibby. I think generally Scottish football was really good then.
With Dundee as well, eh?
Like just really good. I mean, if you think of players like obviously other teams in that, but I mean some of the players that played for the Old Firm and that were like world class players. I mean, Hit Larson, he's probably the best, might be the best we've ever seen. Yeah, so it was.
That's when I first proper got into foot. Like, was getting into football. And my first season ticket was the season we got relegated. So I grew up seeing like Sawsey, Latape, and all that. Kenny Miller coming through, and then you played against Rangers and Celtic. Like my first game that I remember at Easter Road, Gascoigne and Loudrop played for Rangers.
Okay, I mean,
like trying to get standard of players, even going into like the 2000s, like you say, Larson was unreal.
He was a joke.
Bronkhorst ended up going to Barcelona as well.
And
some of the players that played in, and like Liam says as well, like Caniggia, Ravanelli and all that, turning up at Dundee. Like that's ridiculous
when you think about it now. But so
mental.
Moving on for that, Liam, tell us about your connection with the club as a band as well.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned on the intro, we've made no bones about how passionate we are about being Hibs fans, and we've been fortunate enough that we had been asked. I mean, Barry, who obviously announces, he really likes the band and has came to see the band a number of times in that, and he was just keen. I mean, he asked actually, it was probably about a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. He had been like, "Oh, okay, we'll get you today, like something," and but obviously he's busy and we are busy and all that, and trying to get something arranged and organised. It just didn't happen. But then he came to see us, and when we played for the BBC thing, he came to see us, we got chatting and everything. He was like, I seen this, how we'd covered Hibs Heroes. So A View for the Terrace had asked us to do that. And we were like, no bother, we've done it. And Barry was like, love the song and that. And he came up with the idea, look, could you just record it and we'll play it like before the games and everything, because it'd just be good to get like an up-to-date version. And we were obviously mad keen on doing it. And so we did. And we were there when like they first played it, and obviously they have since. I mean, to my understanding, I think they've played it at every game since.
I think so.
And that's and he's also been very supportive of the band. Aside from Hibs Heroes, again, he plays the RBC songs before games and stuff, and at halftime and all that as well. So we owe a lot of it to him actually, because he's been a sort of driving factor behind it and that. But I mean, to be honest, I would be the mascot. Like if they want, again, what I mean, if they asked for that, then we would have been happy.
Bending over backwards for the
exactly.
club.
We would have done that. So just to be able to feel that we're somewhat contributing to the development, but again, all the things that are going on at Easter Road with the new getting with Ron Gordon and all that, coming in and he's trying to change the ethos.
Like the modernising kind
of. Yeah. Just kind of how we're trying to get on and kind of make it merry an event, and we're and just getting the whole thing that's centered around the community and all that stuff. So it's just really good to be getting included in all that, and to be afforded the luxury to do that, because I mean there's getting hundreds of folk that would love to be able to do that. So
exactly,
it's just really really good that we've been given the chance to do that.
Must be a special thing, you know, being lifelong Hibs fans. I mean, Ollie is in the band, and then being asked to do something like that must be like a dream come true. So, you know, if you're listening, Hibs, I'm in a band as well. I'll do IDs, I'll do it.
Need somebody to clear the tables in the hospitality before the games. The brightest guys in to do that.
I know. Okay.
But so your thoughts on the season so far, Liam? How do you think that the Hibs have done so far this season?
To be honest, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as everyone else. I mean, I had been calling for Jack Ross to get the sack for, well, since we bottled the cups, really.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folk were kind of in the same boat with that. And I mean, his time was limited. I mean, what was it? 3 months, I think it was. We hadn't won a home game. When he finally got axed, I think it was
1-1 in 10.
It was something like that. And I'd been calling for it for ages. And ultimately, you need your star folk to be firing in that. I mean, Nisbet hasn't been. I mean, I'm sure we'll get onto this in terms of the sort of Motherwell game and the recent game but
yeah,
we just didn't seem to have any attacking impetus at all at the minute.
Yeah.
And we can control a game, and again we've got player. I mean, I love Newell, and I think he's brilliant, and we're able to control games. But I mean, and obviously now that Boyle's away is a massive blow.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I don't think one or two signings. I mean, I think it will take more than one or two players to fill that void. I think he was that good, for us, and that much a big player. So, I mean, I'm no again delighted at how the season's went so far. But on the flip side, I mean, it's no a calamity. Do you know what I mean?
It could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse. I mean, we've got a new manager, and again, we'll probably get onto this today. And a lot of folk are calling for, I don't know, this is the right man and everything like that. The guy's been in the door 5 minutes, right? The style of football he wants to play will need probably a substantial squad overhaul to be able to play that football. So give him a bit of time. I mean, he's a young manager, plenty to prove, clearly hungry, and he wants to implement an attractive style of play. And again, I don't have an issue with that, and I didn't mind waiting for that. I mean, you see some of the players that Jack Ross brought in, and one of my pet hates with watching Hibs previously is just resorting to the hoofball, right? Resorting to the hoofball. And I mind when we had the sort of golden period. The last golden period probably was when Lennon was the manager, and we had McGeoch, and we had McGinn, and we had that team. Okay, when we had Canberra and we had McLaren, and that team was firing on all cylinders. Because even if you went 1-down in a game, you knew that you knew you were going to score and you were going to get back into it, and it was just a really, really well balanced team. And I just think now that there's a bit of a rebuild job on, to be honest. I think
it's a transition period.
It is, getting definitely
this new manager in, so
100%.
It's something that fans are going to need to be patient with. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be a quick fix, but you know, Shaun Maloney's inherited the team that Jack Ross had. He's added players of his own, and then he's had to now include the players that Jack Ross got on a pre-contract to arrive in January. So you know, he needs time to put his own, like you said, it's been 6 weeks, and the players are adapting to a new style of play that they'd never had to play under Jack Ross. So
totally. And as you say, Ken, he's came in, he's inherited a squad, and he's weeding out some of it. I mean, he's obviously Gogic is away,
Yeah, I would say
and
so.
I mean, it was a no-brainer that some of the players, that the system that he wants to play, for what he's been saying he wants to play, they just
he's
know,
bringing
again, he's bringing in the right personnel for it, and that has got to take time to do.
Exactly.
So I think it's just being patient, and ultimately, we're fifth, so get what I mean.
Okay.
We're 2 points behind fourth. So
exactly. Missed a massive opportunity last
exactly.
night, but you know,
we did that.
That's
Even
something that we'll touch on a wee bit later about the missed opportunity. But moving on. I've got down here, Liam. I've got a wee bit of a daft question to ask you, and that's if you could choose one Retro Video Club song to be a chant for Hibs, what one would it be, and what player would be the focal point of that chant?
God, what song would it be?
What
I don't
one
know.
do you think would be the best, like the catchiest one for a
probably
chant on the terraces?
Probably like Boys Like Me or something, because you could maybe do something with that. Like, well, if it was still here, I would have had Boils Like Me or something. But I mean, I really like Newell. I think he's a brilliant player. But like,
is that why your hair's so long?
Well, listen, I'm not what to say in a hunt, right? But I seen him at Porty Beach, right, and we sort of caught eyes for a wee second, and there was sort of like a mutual, nod as if to say, "Nice hair, mate." And and I was like that to lot. I was with my missus. I was like, "Oh, did you see? It's Joe Newell." Oh, and he had a wee puppy. He was there with his missus and a wee puppy, and it was a cute wee dog. Like, she's like, I was just looking at the dog. I was like, did you not see his hair? Like, did you not see his hair? His hair's fantastic. But I just think that he's a real touch of class. And so maybe if we could work it in, Joe Newell would be the one, I think.
He's got a bit of a weird name to be trying to get into chance, isn't he?
Well, what about his name is Newell? What about if we do Wheatus?
I suppose
his name is Newell. It is a wee bit, but come on, I'm just trying to think on my feet here. Man.
I don't know if Joe Newell brings a gun to school, however, but let's move on to the Motherwell game then. Craig, you saw the game on the telly last night. I was there. It was probably the most drab performance of the season. 0-0 Snoozefest. No shots on target. Is there any positives that can come out of last night's game, Craig?
Another clean sheet. I suppose, like like you've been saying about Maloney needing time. He's only been in the door 6 weeks, and folk expecting miracles. I mean, I seen it on Twitter last night. Folk saying that Maloney's out his depth. Kind of like, what chance have you got? He's just in the door.
Yeah.
Motherwell, when Jack Ross came in, up until a certain point, Hibs fans were like, "Oh, he's taken the most points out with the old firm." Well, since Graham Alexander came in, that's what Motherwell have done. They've taken the most points out with the old firm. So I know they've just lost Tony Watt, but they're no a poor side.
No, not by any stretch.
And to go away from home and get a draw is not a bad result. We can talk about the performance and the attacking side of things as a separate, but if you look on the balance of it, I know it's only a point, but Hearts losing last night brings us that tiny wee bit closer to them, with us playing them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I know we've got a game before the hand. So that 10 points quickly becomes what? So 9 last night, 6 if we win on Saturday and they lose. Then if we beat them in Easter Road, 10 points becomes 3 in a very quick swing, and we're right all of a sudden back in the hunt for third again. So attacking wise, very, very poor, but defensively, we're looking a lot more sound.
I thought so too. Yeah, I mean, if I could pick out one player from the defence who had a good game last night, I think it'd be Rocky Bushiri. Against Celtic, I thought he was good, but obviously conceding those 2 goals put a little bit of a stain on the team's performance as a whole, and the defence's performance. But I thought yesterday he did a really good job of just tidying everything up at the back, marshalling players out, just shielding the ball out to go out for throw-ins and goal kicks and such. You know, he got shoved about by Jordan Roberts. I thought he should have been off in the first half, but I do think Rocky Bushiri has had a really good game last night, and if we see more of the same from him, I do think we've got a half decent player on our hands. What did you think, Liam?
I think he looks a bit of a player, in fairness. As you say, bit of presence in that, and again, just with a bit of time to settle in. I mean, we keep going back to it, but they all need time to settle in. Again,
100%.
They all need time to settle in, find their feet. Again, Scottish game, getting is a bit different. So I think he, with a bit of, as you say, with a bit of development, he could be a better player.
Him and Porteous together will be good.
I think so. He's good with the ball, his feet and all.
And I think
a positive.
When you look at the two, so you look at the three centre halves effectively last night, McGinn, Bushiri, and Stevenson. I don't think Stevenson and McGinn necessarily warrant being taken out of the team, because I thought they were solid enough last night. Stevenson seems to be still churning out these 7.5, 7.5s out of 10 every week, and even though he was playing left centre half. But I think, when we look at the way that we're building up play, McGinn and Stevenson aren't the kind of players that will come out with the ball for the back.
Well, I was just going to touch on that, in fairness.
You swap Hanlon and Porteous back in, they're the players that will carry the ball out for the back.
Yeah. Carry on, Liam.
No, I was just going to say, I was about to bring that up in terms of the style that he's wanting to implement. What we're going to have to need in there is players that are going to drive forward, again, for the back. And Stevenson, as you say, as much as he's kind of just always pretty solid,
he's not that kind of player.
No, I don't think he is either. And to be honest, I didn't think Paul McGuinness quite either.
Defensively, they're sound as any, and so
pretty sound. Aye.
I know what you're saying.
The issue is, I think, if we're really, really wanting to kick on,
you can't just have defensively sound players.
You can't. Certainly no in the modern game. Modern game just isn't that. Wing backs are basically wingers now. The modern game is far more offensive.
Definitely.
So again, it's just who's got to score more goals, really.
It's almost like going back to when you listen to what they used to say about Cruyff back in the 70s, and that sort of Dutch team of that era, that they never played one position. They all could literally play
everywhere.
Centre half, centre mid, left mid, right mid, up front, behind the striker, and they literally just rotated.
Shift over one.
You might find that with Maloney going to the Cruyff Academy as well. That might have because when you look at the players that we've signed, they're no maybe this could be hundreds, but they're not necessarily a specialist in the one position. Like Clark is a centre half, full back, wing back. Mitchell can play full back, left wing, right wing. Henderson can play in a 2, in a 3, off the front. Melkerson can play across the front 3. So it seems as if he is signing these players to fit into a system where, like we were speaking about before we came on, Liam, about how, when the subs were made last night, Doig went for left mid to left centre half.
Exactly.
And players
a lot of shifting about.
Aye. Mm-hmm. And nothing kind of fell away. For the team, obviously, Mitchell comes on to play like sort of that further advanced left mid, left wing position. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've never really seen Doig at centre half, but Doig moved back to centre half and didn't. I kind of was only for maybe 10 minutes or so, but still nothing negative came of that.
Yeah. So are you going to go on record now, Craig, and say by the end of next season, perhaps we are going to have 11 Johan Cruyffs turning out every week?
We're in 18 months, we're going to be celebrating Hibs winning the league for the first time in God knows how many years.
We are going to have a team like Holland in 1988.
Yeah. See, to be honest though, to kind of touch on what you're saying, Craig, if you look at probably the best team in the world, right, and Man City, they're just, as Pep says, they're just a team of midfielders, really. Right? So,
really, aren't they?
And obviously, we're never ever going to get that to that level. But I think, in some kind of way, that is what he's trying to implement with the signing of the players. Again, players like Milner, and they can just play anywhere. Play anywhere. Like, Ken, just play anywhere that can fill in, because you're always got to get injuries in the Scottish game, always. So, Ken, to be able to just bring players, like drop him in there, he'll be Ken, and that's another thing as well that shows you how much he's got to need time. Is that's a mile away from what we have been doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've never
100%.
been near a system like that. So, Ken, to really bring that in and implement it, I mean, it could be a season, could be 2 seasons, Ken, ultimately. But, Ken, if you can get that right and you can get the right bodies in, I mean, you can be a tough team to play against.
Yeah. I mean, especially against a team like Motherwell, who were pressing as well as they do last night. I thought they were really good at containing our attacking threats. You know, we did have a couple of half chances. You know, Nisbet about 20 seconds in has a good chance blocked by the defender, and then you're looking really towards the second half for the rest of our chances. The big one that screams out to me is the Deutsch chance.
The Deutsch chance,
yeah, Craig, me and you were talking about it just before we come on, and I said, you know, at the time we were screaming at him to square it.
Yeah.
But I think looking back at the replays now on the highlights, I don't think that if he put that ball square across in Nisbet, it actually would have got there, because there was a Motherwell defender in between him and Nisbet, and then there was a Motherwell defender on the other side of Nisbet as well. Yeah. So if it goes to Nisbet, it needs to be the perfect ball. And, you know, I don't really think that would have happened. As well, you know, a couple of flash balls across the box. You know, can Wright do better on the Cadden ball across, Craig?
Aye, I mean, the commentators on Hibs TV were screaming at him to take, you know, to no fizz it across the box. But with the weather, I mean, you can speak better for what the weather was actually like. I mean, it was howling. I mean, I took the dugout for a walk and they almost blew away. So I can only imagine what it was like through there. But, you know, the weather does play a massive part in games. Especially when it's like the rain and that, you can maybe handle, but when it's wind, I mean, we'll all know if we're playing youth football as boys. I remember playing out at Pinky once. Pinky, out at Fisher Row. And you try to take a goal kick and it's going out for a corner. Like, you physically can't play into wind. There's none. You can do whatever you want. It just, nothing's going to come. And the Cadden one seemed like he literally tried to take as much off it as he possibly could, but it was too much for Wright at the back post.
Do you think Wright should fling his cell at it though? If Wright flings his cell at it,
nah, he's getting nowhere near it. Because the pace, because the way the wind was, the pace that was on the ball is just taking it away from him. Like it's past him before he can. Can you get the ones where you slide in and you just miss it? That's past him before he could even slide, I think. So
yeah, it just seemed to be like the story of our night last night, really, with that one. You know, with Wright missing out, and there was the Henderson one as well, Liam, that he flashed across the box. It was had a little less pace on it, I think, for that one, but there wasn't really anyone on the end of that or anywhere near the end of that. You know, it could have went in. I think it just went past the post. So, you know, it was just a frustrating night, wasn't it?
Aye, and you get them getting. I mean, how many times have you seen that where teams get getting battered?
Exactly.
I mean, Hibs will batter a team for 90 minutes, just can't get the ball in the net, and sometimes these days happen. But I think what we need to address is the overall the attacking impetus that we have, and that's screaming out to me as we were talking just before we went on. We can control games. I mean, it's different against getting the Old Firm and derbies. You kind of have to take out of it because they're seldom controlled by a team. But
yeah,
and when you're playing really any other team in the league, you would fancy Hibs to be able to control the game. And I think the onus has to be on, well, if we're going to sign another striker or whatnot, or if we're going to sign more attackers or whatever. But we're swiftly running out of time to do so.
Exactly, and that's a great link. It's a great link, actually, because we're going to talk about the transfer window next.
So ultimately, I think we just need to. One of my sort of pet hates sometimes about watching Hibs is we just didn't seem to get enough crosses in, right? Now, I get the, like, say, Nisbet and that, they know all you got to win, he does. But, okay, when you've got Dodge on the park, you have to just get the ball in.
Yeah.
Again, as you say, blustery conditions, bounces all over the place. So, it's one of the nights, as you say, clean sheet though. You can take positives for it. I'm starting to sound like a manager, but but you can take positives for it in the fact that we haven't lost any points and we haven't lost any momentum. Okay,
I
just
think so.
Just a frustrating night, and ultimately strikers no quite firing. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can. But so moving on to the transfer window, then I've got down here. Last night definitely shows that we need a replacement for Boyle, not just a project player. We need someone to come in who's got real good quality. I think we really missed the dart and runs of Martin Boyle last night. Whether he would have scored or not, we'll never know. But there was times, I think, when we were moving forward that we were missing the attacking presence of Martin Boyle. But I think another place where we need to strengthen is a creative midfielder. Craig, do you think a fit McGuinness and Ewan Henderson are enough, or would you be looking to bring another in?
I think we need to find someone in the mould of Scott Allen, and that is probably one of the hardest areas to find, because it's not just about physical, it's about mental. Scott Allen sees things that other players don't see. They just don't, for whatever reason, they just don't see it. And it's when you're talking about controlling games, and you can look at possession stats one of two ways. You can, like last night, I think it finished 63-37 or 67-33 or whatever in Hibs' favour.
Yeah.
And if you look at that on paper, you look at that and you think, Christ, Hibs have had a lot of the ball. Which we did, but when you flip it, that's because Motherwell they're not going to do anything with it, so just let them have it.
Aye, which a lot of teams might be, yeah.
They're going to pop it about their centre half, their midfield one of the midfield's going to drop deep to pick it up. They're going to turn the see. There's nothing on. They're going to give it back to the centre half, and they're going to work it left to right again.
Yeah.
So we need someone who can break between the lines, somebody who can get the ball in the half turn and drive at defences. So ideally, we're looking for a John McGinn or a Scott Allen.
Yeah.
Now, we're never going to find John McGinn or cloned John McGinn or Scott Allen, but McGuinness showed at the start of the season he could definitely be that. He was that sort of breaking between the lines in terms of the final third.
Yeah.
Like we said about the controlling games and whatnot, like the Motherwell game, we had almost 200 more passes, but 15 less passes in the final third.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells its own story. We never, we're playing. I know, Liam, you say you really like Newell. I'm on the fence with him a lot of the time. I think he, like games last night where he gets his head up and he does try to drive forward, but he doesn't do that enough for me. And you're really playing 3 6s in the middle of the park. Ken Newell's almost like that between a 6 and an 8, where he's Ken when you look at putting your football manager head on a deep line playmaker, Ken, he'll try and
I get what you're saying. He can pick passes and stuff like that. I get what you mean.
We've not got that player that'll break between the lines, Ken, like what that Hattati for Celtic, or a Scott Arfield for Rangers, or that Cammy Devlin or Beningame for Hearts. Can they players that'll get the ball? They'll just take their team 15, 20 yards up the park, but the defence come up with them. That's what I think we need the most.
A number 8.
Aye.
I think to touch on the Newell thing, I think he's comfy with the ball at his feet, and he has got a run in that in him. It's just whether we just didn't ken whether he's getting the license to go and do that. Ken,
I don't think he is, though, Liam. I think when we watched the Cove Rangers game, he was sitting deep all the time. But all the play was going through Joe Newell. And I know we've covered the Cove Rangers game before, but everything was going through Joe Newell that night.
Yeah. And
he was just sitting so deep, he wasn't driving on. But I don't know if Joe Newell's ever been that player to get the ball and drive forward. So, it's.
But he's got the passing ability that somebody next to him can break between the lines, and he can
let someone play.
Do you think he's tenacious enough though to be that holding midfielder?
Nah, he's not.
That's the issue. So what do you then do with him? I think if you could get, I mean, Jack Ross brought Godzic in, he kind of be that holding midfielder. Obviously, it didn't work, right? But if we could have somebody, as much as you just said like that, Benny that plays for Hearts, like
Or Devlin. I like
like
Devlin.
Like that just sits there, right? Can see a pass as well, but I think you then could give Newell the license to be one of the number 8s.
Yeah.
So like you're touching there, I say, or Scott Allen or somebody. Imagine you had somebody of that caliber as one of your 8s, and you had Newell as your other 8. Because Newell's really tidy on the ball and he can see a pass and everything, and he could just keep things ticking.
Aye.
So if you had another number 8 in there that maybe was a bit more creative and maybe a bit more a risk taker, I guess, Ken, that would maybe sit just a bit further forward, almost like a Cam.
Yeah.
Then I think you could be onto something. But again, they're really hard to find.
That's what I think
exactly.
McGuinness could be. McGuinness showed at the start of the season that he, he was what was he on, like something like 3 or 4 goals before his injury? Can that goal
he was flying
to keep him fit. That's the main thing.
He broke behind the defence and scored. That's the kind of like when you think about one of the probably the best number 8s that we've had in the last however many years was Dylan McGeoch.
Well, I was about to say something like that.
McGeoch only looked as good as he did because he had John McGinn beside him. I mean, look,
to help him play. Aye.
What's McGeoch done since he left Hibs and John McGinn? Nothing.
But that's what I'm saying though about that whole number 6 thing.
Yeah,
again,
that's where you need.
That's where you need somebody like Jorginho or whoever. Like if Kante, like it's no there, it's not the same. Then so you need that
the players to
number
bounce
6
off each other as well.
Definitely, 100%.
So if we sort out that problem, bring in a number 8 who can play deep and then moving forward like a John McGinn type. So do we need another striker? We've got Melkerson in. Obviously we saw Jamie Gullen leave to go to Wraith, so he's not an option anymore. Kevin Nisbet and Christian Deutsch. I can't think of anyone else who you can see as an out-and-out striker. Do we need another one in? Given the quality of finishing last night.
I think the issue is we haven't seen what Melkerson's about yet. So it's the easiest thing in the world to say, "Oh well, you just need to bring somebody in."
Yeah,
but more than anything, I think you need an actual plan for how you're going to try and create chances. Again, now we've got a big striker there that wins headers, so put the ball in the box for him. Again, or are you got to have like Liverpool play? You got to play two wingers and then have Nisbet drop in as a false 9 and have them making the having the chances and playing off of him. I don't know.
It certainly seems that Nisbet can't play up front on his own. He's not got that kind of strength about him to hold. Like he can hold up the play.
I think he could play as a false 9 though. Honestly, I think he's
a clever player.
I think he has that ability to play with his back, to go and to drop deep, and to just play the way that the same system that Liverpool play. Again, where your 2 wingers are the ones, and Boyle was brilliant at that. But again, that's another thing. Again, I think we need to find. I mean, you've never got to find, which is, I mean, how you got to do that. You know what I mean?
Aye. Well, one name that has been mentioned this afternoon by Patrick McPartland on Twitter is the Norwegian, and I'm very sorry if I butcher this. It's Runar Hauge, I think, 20 years old. I think he can play through the middle and on the wing. Capped up to Norway 18s. 11 appearances for Bodo Glimt in the top division in Norway, and then a couple of loan spells in their second tier. How do you feel, Craig, about us dipping into that Norwegian market again? I know we've not seen Melkerson play yet. We've obviously seen a decent highlights reel of him, but is this something that you think that we can see more of, Hibs dipping into that Scandinavian market?
I would think so. I mean, it depends if they're coming in as first team players or they're coming in as a project. Because I think even though we've paid, we're led to believe we've paid quite a decent bit of money for Melkerson. Maloney's pre-match the other day before pre-match on Tuesday, I think it was basically saying that Melkerson is going to be weeks before. He's not really played that much in terms of over Christmas. He needs to get up to speed with the B team development squad, and then get himself in the first team squad. So I mean, we spoke to Charlie about him, and Charlie couldn't have been any more elusive in his, effusive in his praise. He was very much
Of course.
if he hits the ground running, he'll be a superstar kind of guy. And like we were saying at the same time as well, Glimt have, almost came for nowhere and won the league. They have absolutely hammered Roma there this season in the Europa Conference League as well. So
yeah.
You're no a poor player if you're coming through that academy.
No,
it just depends if they're coming in as, are they coming in expected to challenge for the first team, or are they coming in as a project? Or like you said earlier, is it more of is it going to help Milkerson settle a wee bit more, like when, Lyndon Andrews came in and Errol Jean came in, when we had Latape, when we signed Big Davy when Slivka was here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but I think there's definitely an opening there for players. I mean, you only need to see what Haaland's doing to see that there's obviously no one's going to probably touch the levels at Haaland. But there's, we had Pat Lainen was for Finland. Rangers found Morelos playing in Finland as well, I think.
Yeah, it's
finished, but
it's just one of these things, eh?
That's that kind of market we could be looking to bring in players from.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, I think. I mean, we'll just need to see how good the Melkerson is, and then, if this Hauge boy comes in, he's again a young laddie. It's a Maloney signing, another one who's versatile, can play in a couple of different positions. So, you can only be happy with him bolstering his squad with players that he wants. So I'm happy with that. But looking ahead to Saturday, Livy at home. Liam, will you be watching it on Saturday?
I'll certainly try to be.
You got loads of big time interviews and radio
well, as I say, we're away next week, so I'll certainly try to be watching it. I mean, just to touch on what you were saying there about bringing these players in and stuff, I would have thought that Maloney would have had, having worked with the Belgium sort of national squad, I thought he would have had some ties to some players for that kind of.
De Bruyne and that.
For that neck of the woods. So
he brought in Bushiri, didn't he?
Aye, but then you think about the way that again the Belgian team play. You think, well, it's the same. It's like we were talking about. It's a similar kind of idea, where they can all play football. So I don't know. I just maybe was a wee bit hopeful that perhaps he would have had his finger on the pulse of some kind of attackers for that kind of neck of the woods. But
yeah.
As well, we've been the loans manager at Man City. You've been speaking about Man City like that.
If we play like Belgium on Saturday, we should win, though, eh? We should.
We should do.
A quick look at Livingston this season. The last 3 games, obviously, I didn't see any of the game that they played at Ibrox last night, but Rangers pipped them just at the end of the last 5 minutes or something, 1-0 at Ibrox, and then before that they had a couple of wins at home against Ross County and Dundee. So they were in half decent form before they went to Ibrox last night. And then, of course, the last time that we played them at the Tony Macaroni, it was Jack Ross's last game. They beat us 1-0. We were woeful that night. But yeah, do you think, Craig, that we will go out and give them a doing on Saturday?
I wouldn't. No, I don't think so. They're no Livingston under Martindale aren't a team that typically take doings.
They're playing like the Livingston of old under Martindale, aren't they? Before he had that kind of blip.
Aye, they're very much. I mean, looking at their last, they're what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, 7 games. They've won 4. 7 games. They've won 4, drawn 2, and lost 1, and they've never conceded more than 1. They've only conceded more than 1 3 times this season, and that was against Rangers, and one was against what? No,
we beat them. We did beat them 2.
Oh no, sorry, 2-0. 2-0. We beat them.
Hearts beat them or not?
Aye. So typically they're not a team that get leathered. If you are going to beat them, I think if we can get an early goal, it will certainly calm the crowd down. The the elements of the support now are it's just unbearable at times. Like I said about having a look on Twitter last night, you see that folks say Maloney's out his depth, and what was the point in sacking Jack Ross? Nothing's ever got better, and 1 minute they're getting, Nisbet's getting high five because he scored against Cove, and then he's getting pelters for sections of the support last night. It's just a sense of entitlement for certain, obviously not all the support. I like to think that the vast majority of the support are understanding of what's going on just now.
Well, I mean, I can say obviously when I was there last night, there was a bit of a growing discomfort as the game wore on about the way that we were playing and obviously not making any chances and stuff like that. But I do need to address that at the end of the game, Kevin Nisbet did get a lot of abuse when he was walking, because they had to come back through the away stand to get to where they were changing. And I think he took quite a lot of abuse from the Hibs fans. So I mean, that doesn't help. He's played well against Cove, coming on the scoring, and then he's not really had a shot yet last night, and he's sitting there getting abused, and I just didn't think that was right.
No, it's not. And like we've spoken about, obviously he's lost a lot of goodwill with the support with the whole Birmingham situation last January. But still, abusing your own, like, at the end of the day, as much as Nisbet's getting flack, and I think a wee bit's deserved in terms of his work rate at times, if he's not getting chances, how is he supposed to score? He's not going to be able to just, pick, he can't through ball himself or cross it to himself for him to score.
Okay.
He needs.
He's also not a running behind player. He's not got the pace of a Boyle or anything like that. So he is kind of one of the players that's like a sort of poacher, if you will. He's a
penalty box player.
Yes, and he needs the chances to kind of like sort of reminds me a bit of the way Van Nistelrooy used to play, but like he needs that kind of. Well, just needs the sort of opportunities, doesn't it? He's not got to beat. He's not got to skin players. He's not got to run him behind. He's like you
Kevin
say,
Van Nisbet-Roy.
Kevin Van Nisbet-Roy. But that's how I see him. I see him as a penalty box, sort of just a fox in the box. And as you say, unless you're getting chances in, unless you're getting crosses into the arm or through balls or anything like that, I mean, I think we've not really touched on him, but I think Henderson could be a better player or not, actually.
I think so. I mean,
I've liked what I've seen for him so far.
It's another one that fans need to be patient with, though.
Aye,
definitely. But just coming back to the Livy game, Liam, do you think that we will struggle to break Livingston down if we play the way that we did last night?
Well, I mean, it doesn't look too great, to be honest. But listen, Livingston, I think sometimes you just didn't care what you're going to get with them, eh? They're just one of the teams that they can. Sometimes they can turn up, sometimes they didn't. And to touch on what Craig said, again, I think if we were to pip an early goal, I think that would, as well as calming the support down, that would also maybe calm the players, settle the players down a bit, because they'll be feeling the heat or not.
100%, yeah.
And again, with social media and all that, they've got to see what folk are talking about and the unrest, and they'll feel it when they're playing. So I would like to think that we were just. I like to see when Hibs really go after teams. Really try and put their stamp on them. And they can be, as you said earlier, they can be a bit passive at times. Just a bit too slow. So I think if we play with a bit of intent, we zip the ball about, and more importantly, we get balls into the box, I think we should see them off.
Yeah.
But we'll just need to wait and see.
So just finally on that, what do you think the score will be on Saturday, Craig?
Like I say, it's hard. Typically they didn't concede a lot. Right now we're not scoring a lot. So I'll go against the grain. I'll say 3-0.
3-0. I think it'll be another one of the examples. I think where Hibs have dominated the ball. Again, we'll control the game, and it's just whether I think they'd be happy to say, come and try and break us down. So
as the home team, like you were saying about earlier on, Liam, about how can you expect Hibs at majority times, the onus is on us to go out and attack the opposition. That's like no more than especially at Easter Road, like that.
100%.
As like I was saying about the support earlier on, we have got a very expectant support, especially at home. And it is, when you talk about, there's not really an atmosphere in the stands, it kind of needs to be a two-way thing. If the fans can see that the players are, driving at the opposition, can just, like you say, forcing crosses into the box, forcing corners, set pieces,
taking risks.
Then the fans will get behind them, and it works. It works both ways.
They are a bit fickle, as you say though. They are a bit fickle. Some of the support, Ken, and you just be thinking, well, none of this stuff's worked. So, Ken, you get halfway through, they're all doing this and all doing that. It's like, but at least they're trying something.
It's all right to get frustrated.
You need to try something.
Like I lose count the amount of times during a game I'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake, again, Ken, and you kind of shout at yourself, or you shout, Ken, and you'd be like, oh, can hell Nisbet, come on. But it's different when you get folks shouting, you're shite, can like actually directing a frustration towards the individual rather than being frustrated at the individual, if that makes sense.
With all that bearing in mind, Liam, what do you think the score will be tomorrow? The morn? No, the morn's Friday.
Saturday. I think I would like to think we'll keep another clean sheet, so I'm going to say 1-0 Hibs.
I think it'll be 2-1. I don't think we'll keep another clean sheet. I think that's too good to be true. I think we'll win 2-1. But yeah, so finally, Liam, I hope you've been doing your revision since yesterday when I told you that you're coming on the pod today. I've got a quick quiz for you both. And now I spoke to you before. I'm happy for you to use your phones. I trust you. And if we are ready, let's kick off. Are we both ready? Have you got your phones into the notes section?
I have, yes.
Good stuff.
Again, Liam, just for you, just to prove it, mate.
It's all right, guys. I do trust you. So, question number 1, and it is: Marvin Bartley has played for both Hibs and Livingston, but who did he play for before he signed for Hibs in 2015? Is it A, Burnley, B, Leyton Orient, C, Bournemouth, or D, Brentford?
I thought you were going down the who did he play for more route.
Nope.
Before your question, very quickly.
Yes.
Oh, Liam will not know. I'm like the HibsTalk quiz champ. So.
Oh yeah. Apart from the last time we did a quiz.
Apart from the last 2 times I've done it, and I got beat. But when we've done a proper quiz, no one of these made up ones that Liam does the day before.
I actually did this one today because I'd written a derby quiz yesterday and realised that we had a game on Saturday. So I've given that quiz for Gav to do on the Saturday night pod. So question number 2. Craig Sibbald is no stranger to a goal against Hibs, but just exactly how many has he scored against us? Is it A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 8? This is over both these periods, Falkirk and Livingston as well. Just
too many.
These are ready to move on. Far too many.
I'm ready to move on.
You ready, Craig?
Of course, aye.
Number 3. If you added the capacity of Easter Road and the capacity of the Tony Macaroni Arena together, what would it total? Is it A, 27,933, B, 28,933, C, 29,933, or D, 30,933?
What did you say D was again?
30,933. Can you tell I was scraping the barrel for questions?
Where did you start at, Philly? I'm 26, aye.
27.
27, 28.
Going through to 30.
29. All right, so.
Right. Number 4. In our last meeting with Livingston at Easter Road, we won 2-0, but who were the scorers? Was it A, Martin Boyle and Kevin Nisbet, B, Boyle with both, C. Martin Boyle and Kyle McGuinness, or D. Kevin Nisbet and Scott Allen?
Oh, okay.
Fuck Liam, I can't mind what I had for my tea yesterday.
That was Scott Allen's back heel, eh?
You're trying to play some mind games here, eh?
No, Scott Allen back heeled there. It was a back heel assist for one of the goals.
I don't know, mate.
I
You
remember
tell me.
I do. It was I.
Right, we ready to move on to the final question?
Aye.
Right, finally, Martin Boyle scored a thunder bastard versus Livy in 2016, but what was the final score? Was it A, 1-0, B, 2-0, C, 1-1, or D, 2-1?
I think that one might trip me up, actually.
Liam looks like he's just given up.
Okay, he's got a busy schedule, and you've got him thinking about
Okay,
6 years ago.
2016. Brilliant. Right, okay, we ready for the answers?
Aye.
yes.
Right, okay, so number one, what did you have?
Leighton Orient.
Liam?
I had Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. No, it was Leighton Orient is the correct answer.
Well done.
Off to a flyer, Liam.
I know.
Question 2, Craig Sibbald, how many goals did he get against Hibs?
7.
I put 6.
7 is the correct answer.
And
Well done,
6, he scored loads of, it seems to score every time we play it, every time.
And we played Falkirk so many times.
I know.
I thought it was just maybe a couple for
Always used to
Livingston and then
play.
another
Nah,
couple.
it's definitely would have been more, I think.
Yeah. Question 3, if you added both capacities together, what would you get?
D, 30,993. 933, sorry.
Liam?
I went for D and R.
It's actually C, 29,933.
I thought
Because,
it was over 10k there.
No, it's 9,000 and something,
Oh,
according to Wikipedia. So number 4, in the last meet at Easter Road, we want to know who scored. Craig?
Nisbet and Boyle.
Liam?
I had Nisbet and Boyle.
It is Nisbet and Boyle. Well done. Good memory. And finally, number 5, Martin Boyle's goal in 2016. What was the final score?
Was it 1-1?
What have you got, Craig?
I've realised that I should have put 1-0, but I put 2-1.
It is 2-1.
Oh, was it?
Oh,
I
I
thought
thought
it was 1-0.
Anthony Stokes scored another goal for Hibs that night. Yeah, I couldn't even remember. I remember the goal really well.
I remember Boyle's one,
I went Boyle's one. Well done.
So, Craig, you've regained your crown as HibsTalk quiz champ. How do you feel?
Delighted, honoured. Obviously, like to thank my family, my friends for the.
Get what was nippy, mate. I swear to God, Liam, right? I thought, it's not got to be 30,000, right? But then I was thinking about it going. Then I was thinking, it has to be.
I was like, do you know why? Because
I was like, it has to be 30,000, surely.
When they
and
got
I actually
promoted,
had 29. I thought, it's got to be better.
when they got promoted, there was a rule with the SPL that you had to have 10,000 minimum capacity to get promoted. Like that was because Falkirk got denied by getting promoted for that because they never had a stadium big enough. So unless they've whipped seats out over the years, I think we've both been done there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've not got a clue what's happened there, but I mean, Craig, well done. Liam, commiserations. It's
well done, Craig.
It was a good effort.
Can we do a music quiz?
Aye, so just to wrap up, we'll have a wee look at some listener questions. Just quickly, quick fire. First up is Callum. He says, who would win in a fight between Retro Video Club and the Bright Skies? I think, there's only one winner there, and it's definitely not Retro Video Club. What do you think, Liam?
Okay, what I think, mate. I think that I would go for Retro Video Club via rear naked choke in the third round.
You're a lover, not a fighter. I don't think Sam McGill would do very well.
Granted, I don't know that Sammy would do too well, but again, what I think it is, Liam, I think you would do a Conor McGregor. You'd have one round in you, and you come out and you'd be blown.
I'd come out swinging.
And you'd come out, and that would be you. You'd be toiling.
I mean, you'd be lucky to get one round out of me, I think. Callum also asks a more serious question. Do we need to have more patience for Maloney to implement a total change in football mid-season, or is there genuine concerns?
No, we've said that the whole podcast. You need to give him time, man. You need to go 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Liam said it perfectly earlier on. Patience.
Perfect. Billy asks thoughts on Paul McGinn being stripped of the vice captaincy last night as it was given to Stevenson.
Happens even like a game when you play Football Manager and you get a new job, you get to appoint your own captain. That's obviously what's happened here. I think we were all a bit bemused when McGinn got given it in the summer anyway.
That's what I was going to say. I was confused.
And then you go back to who did we play? And Gray gave the St Mirren away, and Newell was the captain. Like,
yeah, that was an odd one.
No, it's no big deal for me, I think.
Yeah. Next question.
He ended up with the armband anyway when
goodness.
Stevenson went off.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know why he would care. The next few questions are actually for you, Liam. Sam McGill asks who. When I put up that we're having you on the pod, so
what is, mate? He's just jealous that he's not the singer. That's what it is. He's just the lead guitar player. Nobody kens his name. Get what I mean?
I ken. I only ken him because he's for the band. You know, if I didn't ken him, then I wouldn't ken him. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean.
One of them.
It's one of them, mate. That's it. It's one of them.
Kevin Wilson is asking, will your version of Hibs Heroes ever be on iTunes or Spotify? It's a big question.
It is. We've had quite a few folk asking that, actually. I don't know. That isn't what we recorded it for. I didn't know if there would be a demand for that, to be honest. So I'm not sure. And actually, we didn't technically own the recording.
Is it the club?
It'll be Hibs that do. So if Hibs wanted to put it on, then we would do it, but I'm not sure that there's any immediate plans to. But you would need to ask Barry about that, and hound Barry, and maybe they'll put it on.
I think
maybe start a petition or something. Get on Spotify. And
definitely, I think it's just on that. I think there would be a demand because it's a lot of certainly my favourite Hibs song, and
it's not my favourite version of that song, but.
It's different when you we've grown up with the Zoom Zoom one, so it's
the better
like you
one.
were saying before we came on, Liam, while we were on, you're happy to be a part of this whole sort of modernising the side of the club, and it's definitely a catchy way that you've done it, especially with the fact that it was featured on the View for the Terrace as well.
It's the recording's slightly different because when we done the View for the Terrace one, we didn't do the Zoom Zooms. And then after seeing it and that, I was like, well, the whole song's built on that. I was like, so we have to put them, if we're recording it, we have to put them in. So when we recorded it, we put them in and we added some more stuff in it.
I love that. And finally, Liam, Mark McKenzie's asking, have you got any vinyl releases coming up?
Do you know this, Mark? We've never ever released any physical stuff ever. Never ever released any physical music, but it's something that we want to do. We've got a new single coming out next week, and which is part of a larger body of work that would probably merit a vinyl. But the problem is the vinyl delay now is absolutely mental. It's about 8 months.
Is that because of Brexit or COVID? Or?
Both probably, to be honest, mate. I think COVID more than the Brexit thing, but the vinyl delivery is about 8 months now. Again, it used to be like 2 months. Okay? Aye. So it's crazy, absolutely crazy now.
Yeah. So you say that you've got a single coming out next week. Where can folk find that if they're wanting to have a look for it?
They can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, just any of the places you get your music for. I mean, it'll be on YouTube and stuff like that too, but anywhere you listen to your music.
Go and buy it, basically. Go and buy it.
Go and buy it, or go and stream it, and it'll go right into my bank account.
And you've got a few shows coming up as well, haven't you?
We have. We're doing a sort of run next week. We're doing in England, playing a few shows for independent venue week, and then we're back up. We're doing 2 nights with the Cooks at the O2 Academy, back to back in Glasgow, which will be really good. And then we did have gigs scheduled in December, but unfortunately I got coronavirus, so we had to move them. But they've been moved, so we're doing 2 nights at King Tut's, but they're both sold out. in 6th and 7th of April, and then we've upgraded the Edinburgh show to the Liquid Room now, which was originally at the Caves, but that's now got to be in the Liquid Rooms on the Saturday, the 23rd of April. So
yeah, well, we didn't get the invite to come and support you this time, did we? At the Liquid Rooms. But
nah, there was some complaints the last time.
No, I thought so. That could have been the only reason.
Came what is, Liam, right? After you went on, there wasn't a roof left, so
Aye.
we
It
had
was
to.
just- it was
Do you know what I
terrible.
mean?
You had to
Look
bring
at
the
this,
roof back on.
Edinburgh music supporting each other. This is what it's all about.
So Liam, if the listeners are looking to find you on social media, what have they got to search for?
Retro Video Club on everything. Everything's just at Retro Video Club because that handle wasn't taken. So
Love it.
at Retro Video Club and everything, and check out all the stuff.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, Liam. We really appreciate you giving up an hour of your busy schedule, your busy rockstar schedule, away from radio interviews and all the rest yet to come.
Anything for the Hibs, so
exactly, to come and chat nonsense with us.
Exactly. So cheers for having his own, lads. It's been good, and I've just got picked. What was the scores with the quiz, by the way? What was the
2-1.
final scores?
2-1.
It was it?
Yeah.
Should have changed that thingy here.
Yeah,
I know,
listen.
If
what you've obviously, we'll keep it a secret for everybody. But if what you want to do next Tuesday comes off, that'll trump any quiz victory. So
well, and so when will this air? What day?
Tonight. We'll go out
tonight.
That goes out tonight, right? Well, listen, I might be a wee special something on Tuesday, maybe. But I am hopeful that comes off. That'll be cracking.
Yeah, we'll just need to keep our eyes peeled on Tuesday, folks. But yeah, again, Liam, thanks very much for coming on and giving up your time. We really appreciate it, and obviously Craig for coming back on this week. What are you up to for the rest of the night?
Same. I'll need to go and get my tea actually. We baked tatty for tea tonight.
Oh, so am I.
Oh, what's your filling?
Cheese and beans.
Oh, come on now.
That's you having that too? Oh, yeah, come on, absolutely, Si. I love it. I'm away to.
Look at that. I didn't need music. I didn't need music. I've got my baked tatty.
Exactly. I'm because I text Lauren earlier. I said, "What are you on for tea?" Like, well, I baked tatty and that. I was like, "Oh, I bet," because we were recording last week doing in London, and we had the lassie doing there. She makes lunch every day, and it's magic. And she had baked tatty, so she made a baked tatty with cheese and I was like, salt on the outside of the baked tatty, crispy skin.
Love that.
Love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
sounds good, boys. Well, anyways, enjoy your night, and thanks everyone for listening. If you've got this far, and make sure you have a lookout for Gav's pod on Saturday, having a wee talk about the Livingston game, and then looking ahead to the derby as well. But yeah, again, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
cheers.